Welcome to a special edition of Gospel Truth with Andrew Wommack. Today, Andrew's joined by Melissa Oden, Kristen Hawkins, and Janet Porter as they discuss the need to overturn the Roe v. Wade decision in the fight for life.
Man, we are seeing an end to abortion in the United States. The handwriting is on the wall.
It is.
And it's begun.
And now, here's Andrew.
Welcome to a very special program of the Gospel Truth. You know, all of this week we've been having guests on and we're talking about ending abortion in America. This coming Saturday is going to be the 49th anniversary of Roe versus Wade. And man, there has been, I don't even know the exact number, but over 60 million children aborted in this nation. And worldwide, I've actually heard that abortion is the leading cause of death worldwide. That's just terrible. But praise God, there's great things happening. And you know what? This week I've interviewed three ladies, Melissa Oden and Kristen Hawkins and Janet Porter. And these ladies are, in my estimation, they're heroes. They've been fighting this battle and standing up for life for a very long time. And now we actually can see the finish line, the end of this abortion in the United States, and these ladies are our heroes. And so today, we've got all three of them on my program, and we're just going to discuss some things. And so let me just once again welcome all three of you and say to the people watching, if you missed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's broadcast, I interviewed each one of them individually about themselves. Now we're going to be talking about where do we go from here? Because the end of Roe versus Wade or this Texas bill, this isn't the end of things. It's just the fight is just beginning. How do we take this and go forward so that we actually end abortion? But let me just say once again, thanks to all of you. I consider you all heroes. Thank you for everything you've been doing for decades, fighting in this. And man, I'm excited about what's happening. So let's just start. So the Texas bill, let's start with this. The courts are going to hear an argument on this, and by the time that this program is seen, we may know whether they left the Texas bill in place or whether they gutted it or whether they changed part of it. What are the potential things that could happen? The best thing is it stays in place, and abortion has been had civil penalties put with it and follow the money. Man, that's going to shut down the abortion industry. What could happen? Kristen, you were talking before we went on the air. What would be some of the options that they could do?
Yeah, we're following the case closely. We were there in Texas, and our students were honored to, rally and then be the counter protesters to the abortion lobby when they were angry that this law finally passed in the state of Texas. But we've been following it very closely. We're there at the Supreme Court hearing when they held this emergency hearing. The Biden administration has done everything possible to assist the abortion lobby to stop this Texas law, which we know is saving, 135
I heard that the DOJ said they were fully in to fight this thing. So they're
absolutely, I mean, thank goodness Merrick Garland was never appointed and finally confirmed to the Supreme Court because the Attorney General has done everything possible to attack this law. And so we don't know how the Supreme Court is going to rule on this case. They could uphold the law, meaning allowing this law to stand that's saving hundreds of lives, thousands of lives every single month.
Now, if they allow this law to stand and the Supreme Court rules on it, does that open up the door for every state to file the exact?
Absolutely it will. And I think it will be a shockwave through certainly the pro-life movement with legislators across the country already. I know we're seeing in states all over the country of saying, I want to do what Texas has done. This is the time to do this. They could rule to dismantle the bill, to say, no, you can't enforce, bypass the judiciary. And we talked a little bit about my show about, with my interview about how important the judiciary is and why President Trump, was so focused on appointing pro-life judges, because this is how for so long the abortion industry has usurped the will of the American people to strike down any pro-life law, no matter where it's passed. So we just don't know how the court is going to rule.
But here's what we do know. we know that the court allowed the Texas law to stay in effect.
Right.
All right. So
right.
this is, let's just face this right now. We are looking at the greatest pro-life victory in the last 50 years since Roe versus Wade.
Praise God.
We are seeing more than 40,000 babies saved each year in the state of Texas. So what we don't have to wonder. There's honestly, I'm so tired of excuses and why we should wait and the court might do this and the court might look. We have a green light right now to end abortion, and in the state of Texas, they've done it. And so that means we can take, you want to know what to do? You want to end abortion in your state? Take the Texas bill, run it through a copy machine, go to your state rep and say, let's do this. We've passed 14 heartbeat laws, but the Texas version, as we talked about yesterday, is different because it gets to the heart of the issue, and the motivation of abortion is money. So what we're doing is we're giving each citizen the right to enforce this law. And if they sue for violating the Texas heartbeat law, then you get $10,000. You want a fundraiser for your ministry, for your organization? This is a great way to do it. And that's the beauty of this. We don't have to wait for Roe to fall. It will fall. But we don't have to wait, because right now we have a place in America where the killing has stopped in nearly every case for every child whose heartbeat can be heard. And that's 9 out of 10 babies, according to the abortionists who are doing them. And so, again, this is what has been missing in the pro-life arena for the last 49, 50 years, and that is a clear pathway to victory. We have it. What the court does or doesn't do, guess what? That doesn't matter right now, because right now we've ended abortion in a major state, and if it can happen in Texas, and this is what I told them when I testified in Texas. I said, look, if the purple state, and granted it took us about a decade to do it, but if a purple state of Ohio can end abortion, surely the great state of Texas can do it. North Carolina can do it. We've got a truck driver that just took out the Senate president with a $200 campaign in New Jersey who says I want to pass a heartbeat bill there. It can be done, and it is being done, and we don't have to wait.
And so doing things on the state level is awesome, but you can actually do it on a community level. So they have some cities now that are sanctuary cities for life. How do they do that? And those
stand. So, there's been, over 50 cities? I'm trying to keep track of them. It's every week we're being called to a different city council meeting. Lubbock, Texas, we were able to door knock in Lubbock. That was a significant sanctuary city
battle. So Students for Life was a big part of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We were there. And we were door knocking because that was a city that said, well, we're going to take it to a vote to our citizens whether or not we want to be a sanctuary city. They used a similar civil penalty, and it actually had an abortion facility, a Planned Parenthood, operating within city limits. That abortion facility has been closed since June 1st, before the Heartbeat Act even went into effect, because of the sanctuary city. And this is important, and we've been talking as pro-life activists about doing this in the county level. For example, as we prepare for a post-Roe America, if with the Dobbs decision, we've talked about that this week, if the court returns the decision of abortion back to the states, you will have states that instantly move to make abortion legal. You'll have some states where it will only be legal in certain circumstances, and you're going to have states, sadly, where it's going to be legal in all 9 months and taxpayer funded. And so the idea is, and what we've heard is that the abortion lobby may be trying to take our ultrasound van idea and using vans to go in counties that border abortion-free states. So they'll be able to deliver deadly chemical abortion pills to women in states where, surgical abortion and abortion is not legal. And so we've been talking about taking the sanctuary city idea, applying it to counties, and shoring up the county borders that border very pro-abortion states that we know are going to, after Roe, still allow abortions to be committed.
So when you're talking about chemical abortions, you're talking about some kind of a pill.
2 pills,
yes. They wouldn't even have to go to an abortion provider. This is something that they can get over the counter? It has to have a prescription? It's
not over the counter yet. The abortion lobby, some in the abortion lobby want to be over the counter, although I think they make more money at not being over the counter, going to Janet's point. But they have passed it in California, and they're trying to export this to other states, where in 2023, January 2023, every state college campus in California will be legally required to dispense chemical abortion pills right on campus. So you will have toilet bowl abortions, women taking these deadly drugs, being told to go into their dormitory, sit on the toilet, do not look, and just keep flushing. And these schools are not equipped to handle the hemorrhaging, the mass bleeding that accompanies these types of abortions, and the dangers to women's health. These abortions are not only are they always deadly for children, but they can be deadly for the mothers. And they have 4 to 5 times the complication rate of a surgical abortion. About 15% of them are incomplete. And so what they're trying to do is to make these pills, Zoom abortions, essentially. You can get on your laptop, talk to somebody, say, yep, I'm pregnant, I think I'm pregnant, and they'll mail you the abortion. And this is really where the abortion industry is going, because they realize the heartbeat bill and all these.
Would that come under the civil penalties? Would they be able to include chemical abortions?
It would depend on the state and how the state's lawmakers write that in. It is a type of abortion, and these abortions can be committed well after a child's heartbeat. It can be detected.
I had Abby Johnson on my program, the one that the movie Unplanned was about, and I can't remember if it's her. You guys would probably know, but I can't remember if it was her or somebody that was at her facility.
It was her.
It was her, yeah.
We take that clip to college campuses, and
it was horrific what she went through. And people are told that you just take this pill and it ends it, and that's the end of it. That's not
These
actual.
Abortions are extremely painful. They can last. Abby talks about how her chemical abortion lasted for weeks. We go into chat rooms every week, our team, and we try to find women who are in crisis and counsel them. We've saved thousands of lives doing that. And it is amazing the women who will come to public online chat rooms who are still advocates for abortion, but they go into the chat rooms to warn the other women about how horrific these abortions really are. And the abortion lobby just they act like it's this amazing thing. It's great for them because they can charge her the same amount of money. They don't have to pay the doctor or the nurse's time to commit the abortion. They don't have to pay for the disposal of the human being, the little baby that they've killed. They don't have to operate a freestanding abortion facility that's going to have people praying or protesting in front of it. They can just simply ship it to her, make their profit, and be done with it.
But if we get to the heart of really what this is, and this is Melissa, we talk about chemical warfare on the unborn. Mm-hmm. You know a little something about that. I just think I want to bring you into this because that's an important point of what it is we're really talking about. We are really waging what we wouldn't do on our enemies in war. We're waging on the unborn, on children in the womb. And I just think it might be, for those who missed your program, to hear what you endured. It was saline, in your case, the chemical was saline.
Right. Well, and I think there's a couple of points I want to make. Kristen, and I know, Janet's aware of this too. There are states where the abortion industry is already doing things, not just Zoom, but like I can think of Minnesota off the top of my head. They have a van that drives out to rural communities in Minnesota.
That's what I was thinking of.
And they take a little picture saying, hey, we're outside of this city today. Come and get your abortion pills. They're not being seen by any medical professionals. They've already made it clear that it's going so well for them. They would also like to make that an ambulatory abortion clinic. So a van that they would take out to rural communities and be performing abortions. As we're talking about the impact on women and children, how can anyone think this is empowering to women? How many people can really think this is in the best interest of any woman or any child? And yes, I survived an abortion procedure that is not commonly performed anymore because, frankly, too many of us survived it. But I'm here to tell you, Andrew, that children survive chemical abortions routinely today. We have survivors as young as infants that are connected with us.
They survive the pills?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, yes, we know
it's abortion. 15%.
Right. We know children, of course, are surviving abortion pill reversals, but babies are also surviving both pills being taken. Our youngest children that are connected to us, and we're supporting their parents on how to parent a child like me who survives a failed abortion, those babies, their babies, survive both pills. But yet we live in a world that wants to say none of this that we're talking about today is ever happening, that children don't survive chemical abortions, women aren't harmed by them. So it's so important that you're talking about this and that people who are tuning in are becoming educated about it, because if it's not us, who is going to tell the truth?
So one thing I want to get across through these programs is that some people are thinking, well, man, with the Texas bill and Dobbs and all of this, it's over. The fight's over. We've won. Man, if we go to sleep and don't continue to push this, it's not over.
Well, the end of abortion has begun, right?
Yes.
So we're in that place. And we talk about who you're going to listen to. You know, you want to listen to someone who was aborted and survived, or a student activist, or some, heartbeat activist. What I think is this: if you are 49 years old or younger, then I need to explain to you that Planned Parenthood's first plan for your life was abortion. They want to kill you in the womb. Why would you listen to them now? So if we want to get to, it's safe, it's easy, it's legal, all these things we've heard ad nauseum. I mean, I remember hearing for how many years, they said, when we had the bumper stickers back in the day, abortion stops a beating heart, right? And the pro-aborts would say, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. And then when it come to the testimony, they came and testified and said, a heartbeat bill, that's going to outlaw all abortions. And I'm like, really? So you're admitting what you've lied about all this
pole
time.
activity
Right.
is what they're
they'll
calling
try
it
to
now.
rename a child's heartbeat, but the fact of the matter is, it's there. It's medically. You cannot deny it. In fact, if you look to the Gonzalez v. Carhart case in the partial birth abortion case before the Supreme Court, there was a unanimous finding. This is before we ever drafted this. There was a unanimous finding that said if you have a detectable heartbeat in an unborn child, then you have a living fetus. Fetus being the Latin word for unborn child, developing human young one. So that's just another way of saying it. And what that means is it's not a potential life, as they've talked about for 3 decades, 4 decades in the Supreme Court rulings. We now have a Supreme Court precedent that said if you've got a detectable heartbeat, you've got a living human being in the womb. And they don't have to come up with some great new jurisprudence shift. They can say, we're just going to follow the case. We've got a better marker than what we've used all along.
Well, you would be able to address this better than I do, but wasn't Roe versus Wade, didn't it have a thing in there that if you could prove that this was a
Blackman said it himself.
Yeah, so explain
I wrote about
that.
it in the book where guess what? We have science on our side. Those that deny it, when they got mad at me, when I'd bring in the ultrasound in the committee room and they'd say, that Janet's gimmicks and her, her antics. And I said, isn't it sad that to defend your position, you have to deny science? That's a sad place
The
to
new
be.
thing is, you can't show that ultrasound here on campus because that's too triggering. We have virtual reality goggles that we're giving kids, and it's just virtual reality videos of, ultrasound images. And we'll have schools, we'll have Christian universities say, you can't give those out. That's just too triggering. That's how they get around it now. It's a trigger.
I remember I told a girl when I was Students for Life president at my university, and a woman came up to me. She was with the other group. She was Students for Choice. And I said, don't believe me. Don't trust what I'm saying. Go to any biology book, embryology book, fetology book. There's not one in existence that says that life begins at any moment other than the moment of conception. And she called and asked to meet with me. Her name is Carol. And she asked to meet with me months later. And she said she had had an abortion at 6 weeks. And she said she was devastated because she found out too late. She went and did what I said. And she found out, yes, that the triggering language of the truth, she realized. And she goes, whenever you go out to speak on this, would you please tell people that hard times pass, but abortion lasts forever. And I believe the most powerful voices in this movement are the women who've been there. In fact, Rochelle Heidelbaugh is one of the women who testified with us as we went door to door, hundreds of congressional offices we visited. And I would tell the case, and Tom DeLay would make his pitch, and we'd talk about the polls. And then when she would tell her story of how she went through this horrific circumstance of abortion, you see the people who are formerly hard-hearted, you just see their eyes well up in tears. This is not helping women. What they're doing is the way she explains it. It's like giving a suicidal person a loaded gun and say, here, make a choice. Here you go, make a choice. You want to jump off the ledge? I'll give you a little shove. No, that is not what we would do. And so we need to help women and give them choices that they and their children can live with.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to bring Melissa on, is because when you put a face to this and stuff, it just changes the entire argument. And you have dealt with not only your situation, but then your mom, and to reconnect and the damage that it does. Did your mom ever deal with guilt after having that abortion?
Absolutely. I think, like so many women in that position, anything that was happening in her life, my birth mother had a couple of miscarriages, and every time it happened, she thought God must be punishing her for not protecting her first child. And, as we talk, Andrew, about where do we go from here, whatever happens politically, we have 49 years of legalized abortion to clean up.
Wow.
And so if we've lost nearly 60 million lives, over 60 million lives to abortion, then that is hundreds of millions of lives of women and men, former abortion clinic workers, abortionists, nurses, extended family members. I mean, how many hundreds of millions of lives have been forever impacted by abortion?
Wow, that's sobering.
It's a spiritual crisis. And I mean, that's why you see the anger directed at pro-life advocates at the Supreme Court, or if I'm on a college campus, or if you're in front of an abortion facility, someone will come throw eggs at you, because you have walking wounded, and we're literally surrounded by walking wounded.
And you know what? You get to the wounded is not by ignoring the issue. I would speak to pastors who are leaving this issue aside because they don't want to offend anybody, and they don't want to hurt anybody that may have been there. But guess what? You can't have an open wound. What you've got to do is you've got to clean it out. You've got to repent in order to be whole again. And in the same way, the battles. I told Briscoe Kane this not too long ago. One of the sponsors of the Texas Heartbeat Bill, and I said,
Students for Life alumni.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, wow.
It's all connected.
It is.
It's all connected.
As I was on your board
Yes,
back in the day. Yeah. So the thing is, they said to me, Janet, you had so many people betray you. You had so many hurts and so many losses from so many people that you trusted, and they didn't come through and they betrayed you. And he said, what do you feel when, Mark Gurley is the guy that said this to me. He goes, what do you feel when I say this name? I said, I feel pain. He says, that's unacceptable. He says, warriors can have scars, but they can't have wounds. You've got to forgive. You've got to clean out the infection. He says, how does a fly kill an elephant? I said, I don't know. How's that? He says, well, it's an infection. If you've got an open wound, a fly can get in, create infection, and kill an elephant. And so we can have scars as warriors, but we can't have open wounds. And the same is true of women who've had abortions. We've got to repent. We've got to be whole again. We've got to make that right. And I believe those women who've been there, the ones who know better than anybody what abortion does, or those who've survived it, are the most powerful voices in the country. And they're the ones that need to rise up and fulfill their destiny and bring this killing to an end once and for all.
Awesome. Well, that's what you ladies have been doing for decades. Man, thank you so much. We're just about at the end of this program, but let me mention again that everything you've heard this week and today, it's going to be on this little USB entitled Choose Life. And also this goes back, 7 years or more of our programs that we've had people on. I've had each one of these ladies on in previous years, and you got to hear their story in more detail. And then we also have this little booklet that has a lot of statistics on abortion and different things like this on there. And each one of them have a website, and I encourage you to go there and stuff. So we're going to be back again tomorrow, and we're going to continue this. But again, I want to say I think that these ladies are heroes. We need to thank them for standing up. And man, there's going to be, who knows, millions of children born who would have been dead if it hadn't been for what you're doing. Y'all are a blessing.
Praise the Lord.
It's awesome. So we got 1 minute left. What have you got to say in 1 minute? We got it tomorrow, but 1 minute's worth of exhortation.
Once you've seen Goliath fall, there's nobody that can tell you it can't be done. The end of abortion has begun, and there's no stopping it. What was once impossible is now inevitable.
Awesome. Man, I love it. And we're getting to see this.
That's right.
In our lifetime.
We will be the post-road generation.
Amen.
We are.
Thank you all very much. So again, listen to our announcer. He's going to give you this information on Choose Life, and I encourage you to please take advantage of it. And each one of them, they have ministries going. They could use financial support because the battle is not over. It's just the beginning of the end, and we need to continue to support them. So listen to our announcer. He'll give you all the information, and please call or write today. And join us again tomorrow as we continue and conclude this week's teaching on Choose Life.
In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today legalized abortions. The majority in cases from Texas and Georgia said that the decision to end a pregnancy during the first 3 months belongs to the woman and her doctor, not the government.
Children are heritage from the Lord. He knit me together in my mother's womb. Before He formed me, He knew me. Before I was born, He sanctified me. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed with something unalienable rights, that in these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Remember, it's my choice. It's our choice. It's the baby's choice. It's God's choice, not yours. Choose life. Amen.
That's the baby? Wow. That's really all going on right now. Yeah. It looks like an actual baby.
Uh-huh.
We hope you've enjoyed Andrew's interview with Melissa Oden, Kristen Hawkins, and Janet Porter.
Once again, I'd like to encourage you to get this product. This is a little USB in here that has multiple years worth of my teachings about Roe versus Wade during that anniversary week. I've got teachings against abortion, what the Bible has to say about it. You will get the recordings of all of the interviews that we did this week. I promise you it'll be a blessing, plus you'll get this little book on observing all things. So listen to our announcer as he gives you the information, and please get these materials today.
This week's interview with Melissa Oden, Kristen Hawkins, Janet Porter, as well as their 2-day panel discussion is available on a special Choose Life USB. Also included on this flash drive, you'll find many more interviews and testimonies relating to abortion. This Choose Life USB flash drive will be accompanied by the Observing All Things booklet that contains many statistics and scriptures with regard to abortion and other social issues. You can get these valuable resources today for a gift of any amount. This entire series is also available for audio download, absolutely free from our website at awmi.net. While there, you can discover more product details and download additional free resources. You can also order resources or receive prayer by calling our helpline at 719-635-1111. Our helpline is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To write us, use the address on your screen. We appreciate your generosity and hope to hear from you today.
When you partner with Andrew Wommack Ministries, you're not only changing the world through Gospel Truth Television and Charis Bible College. A portion of your gifts go into over 40 other ministries. Ministries like Choices, a pregnancy center that has teamed up with our Charis students to help countless mothers make the right decision.
When a young woman comes to us thinking she might be pregnant, we offer free, all of our services are free and confidential, pregnancy tests, ultrasound. We have 2 nurses on staff, but the goal is to allow the Holy Spirit to lead. And when a young woman is in crisis, we know abortion is a choice that's often made out of fear. She would never willingly choose that, but she feels she has no option but that. And so we give her a safe place to come, talk through her strengths, her resources. Teller County averages about 120 births per year. And last year alone, we had 92 young moms and dads in our parenting program. So Andrew Wommack Ministries has just been foundational as a monthly donor for nearly 30 years, but then also when we purchased each of these buildings and expanded one of our buildings, Andrew Wommack Ministries helped us in that capital campaign tremendously. So we're very grateful for all the support through the years.
You know, becoming a partner with Andrew Wommack Ministries helps us to help these organizations like Choices. You know, our nation today is killing babies at an unprecedented rate, and this is a positive way of countering that. Not just protesting, complaining, it's not cursing the darkness, it's turning on a light. And so join with us and become a grace partner today.